So far in InDesign, we've been applying text formatting through this top bar up here, right? We've been taking text frames and we'll add some text to it. In this case, I'm just going to fill with placeholder text. And we might select a line or a word or even a specific character and modify the settings up here. We've been working primarily with the character settings. This is the character button. And so we have all the character formatting. So this changes how the text looks and feels. But we also have the paragraph formatting controls right here, which I'm sure most of you have actually started exploring. Just to quickly go over what those character formatting tools are, most of these are transferable from other pieces of software, such as Word. These allow you to change the paragraph formatting itself. So for instance, the alignment. So if I select this paragraph and change the alignment, this is left aligned, center, and right. The justification, so how it occupies the different lines, and even how it's aligned towards the spine of a book. If we had a spread here, it would align towards the spine. This is where we can change things like the hyphenation, which we messed with in an earlier video. We can add a border, and we can change the indent spacing and even add a drop cap. So as we play around with these settings, both the character and the paragraph settings, I'll go ahead and make this go away. There's something called styles within InDesign, and styles, just like styles within Illustrator and Photoshop, allow you to save a bunch of formatting rules and then directly apply them. In this case, we're going to talk about paragraph styles. We've just covered the paragraph panel. And let's say I make a bunch of changes, and well, that's useful for this paragraph. Maybe the next paragraph I want to apply something differently. Maybe the paragraph after that I want something else. So for instance, how I want the tabs to be, or the spacing, or the alignment. And basically this will let us save a bunch of presets that we can very quickly apply. I'm going to go ahead and clear out this text. I'm going to go to my character settings to start with, and I'll just make a generally large text. And let's pretend this is like a resume, a line on a resume. 2017 to 2018, I worked at, let's say, Arkansas State University. I was an instructor of digital design. And then we'll say we have a list of responsibilities, such as, this is just kind of placeholder, but maybe okay. So this is a good start to a resume, but perhaps we want to format this a little bit more. So for instance, since this 2017 to 2018 is kind of the critical component, I might want this left aligned. Maybe this, I want this slightly indented. This I want indented a little bit more. And then this line, maybe I will leave it like this, or maybe I'll indent it, but regardless, I want this to be formatted a little bit differently. Just for the sake of this little assignment, I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more of these. Okay, now that I've made a few more entries, let's go ahead and start formatting these paragraphs. And note that paragraph doesn't necessarily mean a traditional paragraph, like 5 sentences and then a return. It simply means the spacing and the alignment of a line rather than the individual look and feel of a line. So first, we actually need to visually see our paragraph styles window. The easiest way to do that is just to change your workspace to advanced. Whenever you change it to advanced, it adds the paragraph styles and character styles workspace. If you don't want to do that, I'll switch back to essentials. You can go window, styles, paragraph styles. I'll go ahead and dock both of these. So right now it's saying that we're using the basic paragraph style, and this changes based on where we're clicking, but we only have one style set up. Just like master pages, we only have one master page. So let's go ahead and select this line to start with. We could also just click within that line. And I'm going to click this new button. And I'll give this a name such as dates. Now whenever I double click this, it's going to open up a lot more options than what we see up here. For instance, it's asking me what it's based on. I'll say it's fine to just be based on that. The character formatting, I'm fine with this font. The size, let's say we want the size the same. Other character formatting, most of this you'll be doing in your character styles later. But really all of these are what we want to be playing with, so indents and spacing. So for instance, left alignment, that's fine. We can add tab breaks here, additional paragraph rules, which can be really interesting, paragraph borders, shading, etc. In this case, I'm just going to leave most of these the same. The only thing I'm really going to change here is I might add a border, and I'll just have a border on the left-hand side, just to give it something of interest to kind of mark it. Notice there's tons of different options, and I'll just say OK. So now we've applied that dates style here. I'll just zoom in, and you can see it added that little border, which I may want to change that later, but that's fine for now. Now let's click this next section and click Dates, and see it automatically applies that style. Okay, now let's select this line. I'll create a new style, and I'll call this one Location. In this case, I want pretty good indent, maybe a 2-point indent. We can choose all different other types of settings like spacing, paragraphs, whether or not it uses hyphens, but I'll say that's fine for now. Let's select our next line. I'll make another paragraph style, and this one we'll call Position. We'll do the same thing. We'll add a little bit more indent. This time I'll do a 3-point indent. Okay. Let's select this last one, make a new style, and call this Responsibilities. Let's give this the same amount of indent as the above one. Maybe I'll make the font a little bit smaller here. And we'll play more with these settings later. Say OK. So now I've created a nice little structure, and I can simply go through here and click what each of these are, and it will automatically apply those. I'll zoom out so I can take a look at it. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit more structured. There might be some things I want to play with here, such as the line spacing. So for instance, if I change my location setting, and now whenever I change these styles, it's going to change it across the board. I might want to do something like shift the leading around so there's a little bit more space. So maybe I'll do a 30-point lead or 29-point. So these are always changeable later. We can always come back in and modify these.